Most guys, they don't even know what romance is, for
Yeah.
starters, or they use it to fix things or to get something, or they have no clue. They just like I didn't even know how. It's actually remarkable how I knew to be a gentleman because I had a bad example. I never saw anything like that in my life, right? I saw
Yeah.
screaming. So I think that men, we get a bad rap because you're supposed to just know because, you watch the movies or some shit. I don't know. But like, if you think about it, usually it's not our favorite movies. We want to blow some shit up and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
All right, my man. What's up, Kelly? What can I help with?
Um. So the main reason I want to do a one-on-one is kind of I wouldn't say struggling, maybe struggling is the right word. Man, I've just been so like with the wife. It's almost the opposite. It's like she's not ramming the car. There's no response. There's no. I mean, she's a sweet woman, so she, you know, when I'm doing, when I say something nice to her, so she gives the thank yous and the and whatnot. But um, it's it's been almost like a no reaction. Like there's not very much reaction at all from her, and uh, I'm getting to a point, and I've been trying to, like I've been trying to focus on myself and do my thing and whatnot, but getting to a point where like I just I feel like it's almost better. I'm almost better off just completely just saying, you know what, fuck it, go, like, and not in a bad way, but just like just almost like that's what I need for myself is I'm almost like I'm dragging myself through hard, like um
Well, no, you're just talking like a quitter right now, dude. Everything's fucking hard in life. You're going to school, you're learning new stuff. It's hard. So if you think about it like this, she is running the side of your car. If she's ignoring you, that's one way to do that. If you guys were living together still, she just might not be talking to you. She might not be making your coffee like she used to. Whatever,
right.
right? That's all the exact same thing. But you got to think, this is coming up over and over with you. You got to think about how it's not about the outcome. She didn't like the guy who was not showing up, who was doing everything with expectations, who didn't have purpose. So right now, that's what we're learning. We're not worried about the outcome. You have nothing but time. Nothing but time. Right? I know that the worst case scenario she starts dating somebody tomorrow because you guys are separated, right? But it's the worst for you. I get why. It's the best for you, and I know why, because those guys will not be leveling up. But attaching your decision process to her has nothing to do with your core values. Has nothing to do with you being authentic. It has everything to do with, is it working or is it not working? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I know what you mean, but it's also, I mean, that plays a factor too, is the core values and the um the upcoming decisions that I'm gonna have to make. Like I've only got a month left in school, 2 months left in
Hmm.
school, month and a half,
Yep.
um, and I've got to start making some of these. Like one of the top companies that have come that really intrigued me, that have come to interview and recruit from our school. Um, like I said, it was really enticing with what with my values, with what like it's not a big corporation, it's a family owned thing, and but one of the big things is their locations, and this is going to be a huge
I I assumed you were
issue.
going to say location. So that's when you're making a decision for you.
Yeah,
And but if you were married, you'd be having the same conversation with yourself first and then with her. So if you're taking a job opportunity, that doesn't necessarily mean it's over with your wife yet either, right? You're attaching everything to the immediate and to the now. The now, the only now that we know is that she doesn't want to be with you. She wants a divorce because she didn't like the marriage. That's only now that we know. If we wanted to add to that, it would be that you've learned a lot and you are growing and you are leveling up and so when you start to make decisions based off what could happen with her, I personally think in the stage that you're at, if this is a good job for you, you should potentially take this job. But I also don't have a problem with you saying to her, we can come up with a plan too, but something about the fact that you want to take this job. However, family might be more important, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
so I also don't know how you could, just from what I know of you, I feel like you're gonna die if being away from your kids,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like how do I? It's and again, I try not to worry about it too much because the way I see it is, there's first things first. I gotta get my fucking license, and uh, so it's not like that's in the future. I try not to worry about that stuff until I that like again it does float back there in my mind, and again it's a number of things. It's a number of things, just in general that I think to myself, like, man, it's been a year already, coming up on a year in August. And and again, obviously, I know it's a patience game, and it's, uh, yeah, I guess you're right. It's just my, um, yeah, it's just me. It's just tiring. It's exhausting. I get to a point where I'm just like, man, where do I where do I draw a line? Where do I say, hey, I got to look out for my best interests, and after being a year away from you, and and like, where do
You
I?
gotta you have to think about everything a little bit more simplified. Like I can't remember exactly. You're 5 weeks into the program right now, maybe four. I
Yeah,
can't
give or
remember
take
exactly,
5 or 6. Yeah,
yeah, so you're just still implementing the lessons in learning. So making decisions based off just right now, making decisions off of life with so much uncertainty that like this has nothing to do with the year that she's been gone. If you're thinking about, wow, I need to make a change as of 5 or 6 weeks ago, right? You have to allow for time like that. What you're doing is you're wrapping it into, and Greg does this too, right? He's like, well, I was making changes over a year ago. Yeah, but like you recognized 4 months later that you wanted to do my program. You waited another few more months after that. Like that has nothing to do with the same thing. Just like the decision to take this job opportunity, there's lots of different ways to look at the decision, factors that you would weigh in, right? You know, so you want to do it. It's an incredible opportunity. It aligns with a lot of your values with the kind of company. That's some of the stuff that you mentioned. You don't know what it would be like to live with away from your children until you do that. That's a regret that I have. Like I'm looking forward to moving back across the country next year. Miss my boy, right? And that was same thing for an awesome opportunity. I don't know that I weighed that out right, but well, we could talk about me another day. But the thing is,
right.
like, I think just the way that you've described the way you like your time with your kids, your love for them, like I think you will feel some pretty big regret for the opportunity to take, you know. Um, and then there's the factor about your wife, but that has nothing to do with the past, her leaving you, wanting to end. I mean, if you look at a lot of these interactions that you had, they've been really, really great. You using your kids is an opportunity that we create or we use to show up as a new guy, as one of them. As you know, you're going to lose that opportunity, right? And there's lots of ways though. So you need to dig really deep as to, like I firmly believe there's probably, if you like this company, there's probably a whole lot more on the list that you could go to, you know.
Yeah,
It's just that this one fell into your lap potentially or whatever, right?
well, and it just goes with that in general. I mean, like I said, just about any of them. There's very few that are based in Dallas Fort Worth that I'm going to be able. So it's pretty much a given that I'm going to, if I want to get I'm gonna have to leave the area at some point, and um, but yeah, and it comes down to, like I said, man, I don't, I do, I want my wife back. I want my family back. I want that more than anything. But at what cost? Like, do I? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
You, I think you're following the same route that a lot of lords do when you know you're working really hard. She's not in a program, and there's a time factor that goes into this. I could care less about affairs, divorce papers, buying another house, all these, even moving,
yeah, it's
because
just a
it's
matter of
really
time.
yeah, it's just time, right? But
Yeah,
I think that so many of us forget, you know. I could give you so many recent examples, but like Cher was like so upset because she's coming at him like 5 times a day, nagging at him, bitching at him, and whatever. And I'm like, but you told me on the same call that you did it anger binges for 3, 5, 7 days for years. I think he said 5 years. It's like we forget that, and we go, well, geez, it's already been 5 weeks, and she's not talking to me as much. If you just think about just
but
showing up, then it's just a matter of time till she sees a difference. Let me give you an example. One of the ways that we can create opportunities, which I don't include in the reset because I don't want guys to just do it right away, but we can make a plan for you like this where it's the way you post some of this new purpose stuff that we talked about in the live training, right? Where like I really liked the idea that I just sort of randomly came up with you, right? I thought it was cool and I think you'd like it. You had a big light up moment, and like if you started posting some of that leadership, for example, people in your life will be telling her, whether you're doing that in your garage here in Fort Worth or whether you're doing that in another town, right? And that's the beautiful thing about having the same connections on social media. Just as one example, right? There's so many different ways that you can show, and that will all factor into the time, right? Because you're not acting like you're not making these changes for her. I know that's gray area for you right now, but slowly and surely you're starting to catch on. This is for you. She already didn't like the guy before, and now you're finding out that you didn't really like that guy either,
yeah,
right? Does that make sense, bud?
yeah. No, it makes sense. And yeah, I mean, and I noticed, like I know that she notices the changes. I noticed the changes in me, and I know that she's, like I mean, she's flat out mentioned it. I can just tell by, like the way, just I mean, this last weekend she was, um, I forget what she texted me. Oh, it was yesterday. She just asked if simple as I had the kids, and it got later in the evening, and I've been trying to do that, just not be as available, and not worry about her. Like, you let her go do her own thing, whatever. And so mid afternoon, 1, 2, 3 o'clock or whatever, she texts, "Hey, is everything okay that way?" And I checked my phone, and I was playing in my head, okay, should I just, I'm in the middle of doing stuff. Should I just not respond or just give a quick yes? And this is with that, like, this frustration that I've got with, like how, um, basically how it's not happening in my time frame, like I've got this frustration in me. And I thought, like, what, let me give a what would you call, I guess, a player answer. And so I text her back and I said, "Babe, I've got the hottest wife in the world, or the sexiest wife in the world, who gave me the prettiest two girls in the world. Of course, everything's okay here." And she responded back like, "Yes, we are blessed with those two girls," and yada yada yada. And thanks for the positive response. That made my heart happy. And so, like, just shit like that, I
Dude.
can
So,
I can
so hold
see.
on, hold on. The whole thing, just because I know you still attached to outcome, and it's hard. It's really hard. But just think about this. So you're like, she's kind of ignoring, and we didn't even talk. Like, who knows what she's doing, man? It's summertime. Frick, Dallas, it's like 4,000 degrees. She's probably having a blast, right? Like, who wouldn't be in their pool? Like, come on, like, and so who knows what's going on, right? Maybe you've also inspired her because you've been showing up so great as a dad that maybe she's doing more and more like connected with the kids, right? Like, there's lots of different things. but our mind goes to the insecurity. The monster grabs you, and then you start to feel the loss of impact, where you start to think like, man, like it's not my timeline, like it's not fair, like I want to, and then you forget, or you don't even notice she reached out to you to connect and check on you. That's a bid. That's a bid, right? That's a direct attempt to at least check in. And then she didn't even like completely ignore the fact that you said that she was beautiful, right? I know why she went more to the kids, you know, but to go as far as to say you brighten my day or whatever it was, right? Like, dude, sometimes insecurity makes us miss so many positive things, right? It might
No,
not be your timeline, but that's amazing, dude.
and I get that. Like I said, I do catch the positive things. I really do. Like and I think maybe I'm answering my own question in this in this talk, but that is where I feel, like you, that roller coaster hits, you get that high that, oh, she noticed, like um
It's working. It's
and then
working. It's working.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and then yeah, it just kind of, the reality sets in that, oh wait, I'm still separated. It's not yeah. So
Just add
again,
the
I guess.
just add the line, not there yet. Right? This is go get your life, go get your wife. It wouldn't matter, Kelly. You've seen all the guys that actually have their women at home. It could be way worse. Like some of those guys, like they're mean wives. Mean wives. They're angry. They're hurting so bad. That's got its own challenges. Everybody thinks their situation is the worst because we're
Yeah,
all on that roller coaster, you know?
and I, in no way, shape, or form do I think mine's the worst. Like
No, good,
I,
good, good.
I've yeah, especially, I mean, just in general, but especially from some of the guys in the program, I don't. I think there's some that are better, and I envy them, but there are some that are worse, and yeah, mine's, yeah. Everybody's is unique, and I'm not
Just don't let
denouncing
don't
that.
let whatever you're feeling in the low guide what you're thinking. Just
Dictate,
like,
yeah,
yeah, right now the guide is I didn't like who I was. That's why I joined the reset. That's why I became a Lord. That's why I wanted to do more. And you focus on that. That's all. And when you remember, when you can look in the mirror, we can make different kinds of decisions. Hey, maybe we will have a discussion about the timing, and that you're not necessarily wanting to continue to wait and go through the ups and downs and all that, because your situation is what it is. That, like, the marriage is coming to an end. She's been out of the house now. You're helping her get rid of stuff, like, so there's a certain point where you potentially will say this won't work, and that does not have to be attached to you moving at all. Okay.
no,
But what we do
yeah, I
need
get
to
that.
talk about is that decision. Okay. Like, if you put yourself in a position, like, you think, like, because airplane mechanics, I know, I just talked to one the other day who's like, I travel on the road a lot, right? He's gone for 2 weeks at a time or something. That'd be like an oil rigger, a guy working on the oil
Right.
rigs, right? And what I always think about is sort of like when we made the decision to try a different city and make some money during COVID, and then we made a decision to move out east and try different, like, whatever the reasons are. When when you make decisions like this, you, you do your best to get all the answers. But when you know something like, well, this is a career that I chose, knowing that there isn't really options where I live, where my family is, like, I'm guessing you went to school, started school before she was even out of the house.
Right at almost the exact same time.
There you go. So, like, you already knew this was coming. So, and I know how passionate you are about it. And it could just be a step too. Everything can just be a step. So we make our choices. Like, I get these guys that are out of town and they have all these different whatever complaints. Let's just say whatever complaints. Lots of times insecurity, stuff like that. And I'm just always like, but dude, like if you don't like it, make a change, because you made the choice to do that, right? Back, I know this because I worked on the rigs 2 weeks on, 1 week off when I was younger. I made a choice to do that, and I look back and all I did was complain about that choice, but it was my choice,
Yeah.
right? So There's options, man. You can go, well, the school's amazing. Is there something else I can do with it? We can brainstorm that stuff if you want.
What,
Is this
and like I said, that's not that it's not that big of a factor, the moving and stuff. I'm not saying, again, I don't know. I don't, that's a month and a half away before I even finish school. Then I still got to take tests. So that's in the future. And I'm just using that as an example of stuff that that may become a factor is, oh man, do I call this company and take this job? And do I, it's more or less, I guess it's that is it working? Is it, and
Kelly, it's working. You're already, your thought process, man, the reflection, all that you're doing is you're going down that reflection path that's not healthy.
yeah,
At times, not always. But if you watch the progression of how you, like, week to week, I mean, you make the calls, you do the reset, you ask questions, you help guys, and it's clear that you're evolving, that you're growing. Even the fact that you're thinking about how I make decisions instead of the natural, you were pretty good at happy wife, happy life, right?
yeah, yeah,
Doing it to appease her and doing it for approval. And so even if you just look at reflecting on making decisions in a better, more healthy way, right? You're not controlling, you're not manipulating, you're thoughtful, and you're thinking about core values. You're thinking about big picture, even if we can get distracted from what some of that big picture is, because we can't tell yet. So you have to recognize the growth it's been phenomenal, dude. It's
well,
just, I think you said timeline earlier. I think you're stuck in the, how fast is this supposed to go, right?
I am, man. I'll be 100% honest with you. I'm, that's, again, I think for me at least, I don't know about everybody in general, but for me at least, that's the hardest part is, man, just being, fuck, I'm hungry, I'm starving. I'm ready to eat. And, um, and just, again, to be blunt, I'm ready to fuck, man. I'm like, it's been 6-7 months. I'm ready for some, and that eats at me. There's been, just taking the kids to the pool the other day. I'm like, oh man, I know that I gotta keep the blinders on. I gotta, I know what I want, and it's, I'm disciplined in that area, but at the same time, there's that little, there's the angel on this side that I'm staring at the face, but there's that devil over there, pulling on that ear, going, "Hey, man," there's just so many different things that day by day, it's getting harder, but I can, at the same time, like you said, I can feel myself getting better, and when the two clash, it's tough, and I guess, like I said, this is what I need almost to vent it out and to have this one-on-one, to have that encouragement from you and acknowledgement that it is getting better and that it is working, and that, those little wins are big wins. And so, but, yeah, man, it's just, yeah, it's rough.
Well, if you simplify it, when you think about the roller coaster, like, yeah, of course it's rough. I mean, you're hungry, you want to eat. I think what you actually meant was, I just love my wife and I want to have her back.
Yeah.
I want to fuck, but you mean I want her,
Yeah.
and I can't right now. She wants a divorce. You're getting along so amicably well. You're actually turning it up, man. And I think, like, this text that she sent to check on you is just proof of the change, and she's just noticing all the different pillars, all different men in the program, that I teach you to be, that you are moving forward. Then that's the part that gets you. That's the part when people go, and this would be anything, dude. Like, you start doing your legacy project you talked about, you start your new job, and there's a learning curve, right? That's the part that it's the direction of change. Remember that in Man with Power, the very first module, there's the direction of change, and you get down to this low spot before you get up to this good high. I'm loving where things are going, because if you think about it, like the men who've had to motivate with boundaries, they're at a high in the direction of change with themselves, right? Wife still wants to be mean and kick me in the balls. I actually don't have to tolerate that anymore. But I
Yeah,
also feel
yeah,
so good and so high in the direction of change. I've been out of this low roller coaster pit for so long that I don't have to lecture her. I don't have to teach her. Everyone knows you shouldn't get kicked in the balls. She shouldn't be doing that. So sorry. And I'm being extreme, obviously, but
yeah.
that's the difference. And as long as we keep getting like pushing you, getting you through that little low spot and up, it starts to feel better because you feel better about you, right? And that's why I said earlier, dude, there might be a conversation that we have in 2 months, 4 months, whatever, where, especially at the rate that you're going, right? Where the conversation isn't on the table for you guys to even date again yet. And you're just like, man, I love who I am. You might even go through a spot where you're like, she's great, but she's still actually way down here and I'm up here. And there's no inviting if she's not living with you to get her to join you and follow. You know what I mean? Like, not really. We can play with it with being a man with kids, but it's not the same. So I'd encourage you to keep pushing forward and looking towards that man in the mirror that you are so proud of, that can make a clear decision without having to. And this is about her. This is about the job. It's about the kids, everything. It doesn't have to second guess it just because you just know what you believe, and you don't have to teach that to anybody. It doesn't affect you if they agree, don't agree, whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. And with that being said, like that's part of like her characteristic. I mean, I actually reflect back and I think about just dating her. Like when we first started dating, I kind of compare it to our situation now, and that she's so fucking stubborn and so, like just stubborn. And I sense that like that's just where she's at now, is that I look at, she made the decision, and I'll put it in her view. I made the decision that I made this boundary, and he didn't make the cut. He did what he did, and now I have to stick with it, and she is trying to
No,
stay dead set on that.
this is
And
it's possible, but more than likely, dude, she just doesn't want to make a mistake again. It's only
yeah,
been new
well,
changes that she's known really for 5-6 weeks, even if you did a bunch beforehand, right? Like when you don't show up with everything in place, it just undermines all the things that are good and shows her the things that she's like, this is why. So don't worry about her being stubborn right now. Again, even if it's worst case scenario and she started to date somebody, you're just like, your mind's gonna go to her fucking. She's probably not in a rush. You know what I mean? Like, but we get in this stupid rabbit hole. And if you just realize she might be stubborn, but it's a lot easier to give in when she sees and believes the real changes, right? To fall back into, take the wall down, to start going on dates again,
and that's
right?
and that's what I'm telling myself, is it's the patience, it's the time, it's the like like we've talked about before. It didn't, the wall didn't go up in 5 weeks, and it's not going to come down in 5 weeks, and I get that. It's just the I guess just knowing that it's gonna take that that I gotta stick with this for so fucking long, and it's,
The
yeah,
thing
I
is,
don't know, man.
it's if you remember that I'm gonna give you some homework, but if you remember, it's not that you've got to stick with this. It's that you want to be doing the things that you're learning. Like nothing, as far as I can tell, nothing you learned in the reset was like, oh, that's fucking stupid. You're like, oh, this makes sense. Oh, that's why
No, it all
I
makes
like that.
sense.
Yeah. So don't think about it like I have to do it. It's unless it's I have to do it because I get to do it because it's what I want. You know what I mean? And I didn't make that up. I don't know who said it first, but I get to. You know what I mean? This is
Yeah, no,
this is stuff that I wish that I had a better example and learned when I was a kid. I mean, I certainly do, for myself.
yeah.
So
Make
I was,
man, right now it'd be so much easier.
yeah, absolutely. But then we wouldn't have had good training to interact with somebody who had bad training, which is still going to be most of the world, right? So you just keep moving forward. But I have some homework for you. I want you to go back to Man and Power and just look at the patience formula, write it down on paper, and write down some
Yeah,
of the
dude.
things, right?
I will, but I'll tell you right now, like that's. I mean, I'm conscious of it. I know that that's the exactly where I need to be focused on is the patience, and yeah. I mean, like I said, without you even having to tell me to go back and look at it, that's by far what it is. It's my patience. It's been probably my biggest problem in life. Is being patient. When I want something, I want it now, and usually I get it, and that's part
Well,
of
that makes it hard then when she's
what's
saying
going
no.
on. What's going on right now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess I just look at it like I have a little thing on my background that's says it's not whether or not it's easy, it's whether or not it's worth it, and that's what I try to like just keep in my head is it'll be worth it when all is said and done. When I yeah.
You know what else you can, because I say something like that to myself all the time, and I tell people all the time, like, nothing in life that's worth it didn't take a ton of work, right?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something. What I've really learned is most people aren't willing to do that. So no matter what it is, I know that I can achieve it. Now we can't control, say, her. We can't say, or any partner, potential partner for the future. We can't. But you will look in the mirror and know you did everything you could. That same man will show up. Let's say worst case scenario, your wife just no, I said divorce, and she just is the stubborn side of her that's running the show here, and or sorry, has that stubborn side of her that's running the show here for that. And well, you know what? When you do start dating again, and you get serious, hopefully with your wife, but your kids will see the difference because your wife will still be acting and reacting the way that she always does, but
Hmm.
you will be a brand new man, right? And so that's the guy that looks in the mirror and makes different decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's like I said, just I notice it. I don't know if the kid. I mean, the kids have always. We've always had that. Like I said, I'm a giant kid, so I know they. To them, it's just I'm a little bit more fun than I have been, but I know like I said, my wife noticed it. I noticed that she notices it, and that's part of what my motivation is to say, at least in the long run, like you said, let's say it doesn't work. Let's say she is stubborn, and another year from now, it just that's it. We can't. We try. I can at least look at my kids dead in the eyes and say, hey, I tried everything. I tried my hardest for the and
Yeah, one day they'll ask.
again
But see,
this.
some of the things that you don't think about though, Kelly, is like you're going to be making some way bigger moves, even though she's out of the house. The point is we're putting the new man under you for a while, right? And building the foundation so that when you are a little bit more, no, I know what I want. Let's go. And you're trying to get her to go out with you again. Or you found the most extravagant, perfect, not necessarily expensive, but thoughtful gift that you're like, oh my God, especially use game-changing gift giving, and you put it together, you get this great, awesome gift, and you give it to her. Like she's gonna be seeing all these changes, gonna be seeing this. If you're doing this social media posting thing, people will be selling you to her over and over and over again because everybody that you both know is going to see the changes also. That's it. And they do the work for you. They do. If you want to know what's helped move Ryan a lot further with his wife, that's why. You can talk to him about it. His wife's been out 5 or 6 times with the friends all bitching about husbands. And she's like, I have nothing bad to say. In your case, your wife might even send you a message to say, you know what? Like, just so proud of you, the changes. That's a sign that she's ready to think about moving in the right
Well,
direction. There's so
she
many different.
has she said it. She said she can see the changes, and she's proud of
No,
me. And
I don't mean that. I mean, when she's complaining, her friends are complaining with their husbands.
Yeah,
When her
yeah,
friends start because that's what they do,
yeah.
right? Think about all the changes that you've learned in the reset and why every man needs them, and then think about, oh crap, every time one of her friends is complaining about her husband, your wife is thinking about, oh wait, I've noticed he's changed that behavior
Yeah,
every single time. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, that's a good thought to think of. Yeah. So with that being said, let me kind of switch gears. With that, that.
So only a little bit more, okay? I have to get running for another call here.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's fine. It's just so in this man at play, I've been trying to um put this in play more often, and I've been like I actually am kind of ashamed at how hard it is for me to think of shit that my wife likes. Like I'm like, oh my god, was I that bad of a husband that I can't even think of what her favorite type of food was, or like whatever. So I've just been trying to make every little interaction just like the packing. Like she was going out with her friends beforehand after work, and she said she'd come by after, and I went, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll get some drinks. I ordered pizza for the kids. I ordered wings for her. I did remember her favorite type of wings that she likes. Got wings for her. I got markers for the kids to color on the boxes. So I made it as much of a entertainment atmosphere as possible. Quote unquote a date, like a packing date. And we've got to do it again, painting the house tonight. So but I guess what I'm asking is, I'm starting to think about this stuff more and more. And one of the things that I remember a long time ago, years ago, that she had mentioned that I wanted is the flowers, and it was more for Valentine's. But I like I've also realized that there's like send her flowers on a holiday, so I wanted one of these days send flowers up to her work. But I'm also trying to balance this, like I don't want to get too, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here.
Overboard. I think you're saying
yeah, I don't want to go
like,
right.
If you said, if you have flowers and she just had a nice interaction with the text, then all of a sudden she's going to be like, oh, now I shouldn't have probably done that. I'll pull back because he's giving me flowers, right? Is that sort of
right? That kind of yeah, exactly.
So first of all, you're going to be a man that you want to be. If you're thinking about her, but now we've talked about this where it's like, well, of course you're thinking about all the time because you want what you can't have, and she's your wife, and there's all these things. So we're not going to go crazy, but be thoughtful about it, And so flowers might not be the perfect thing because of that text message. It might look like exactly what I said, that she thought, oh crap, I shouldn't have, been so nice on the text, giving them the wrong idea. But at the same time, if that's in your heart, and she mentioned it before, what I would just do something like this. I know we're running out of time. So I remember a long time ago, you said that you like flowers, and you cut out a little bit, but I think it was something along the lines of like, not just on Valentine's Day. And so, you know what? We're running out of time. So here you go, babe. Like, put that in her head that we're running out of time, right? But the structure is actually for marriage. Here's the flowers, and I'm thinking about you. And now you've removed all of that. By being a player, you've removed all of that uneasy feeling. And remember, we don't know. If she runs inside of your car, you're just ready to handle it, right?
Yeah. But yeah, no, and that's that. So I'm thinking, like I said, in my mind, that's, I think, a little bit in the future. I don't know if I want to play that card right now, especially with, like the good interactions. Again, just I try and think of, my wife. I don't think she'd have a bad reaction from it.
Just do this instead. Focus on your lovers list. Write some more stuff down. Focus on, while you're doing that, things that that she does love. You should know. You're right. That is a bad husband thing to not know. But unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's really common, right? But you should know. And I have a list on my phone. I can't remember. There's 3 kinds of flowers. So I know orchids is one of them. I know lilies is another one, and there's a third one I can never remember. So depending on, because I'm never going to give the same ones all the time. So I look at the list on my phone. So when you do know something or figure something out, or the kids remind you of something, whatever, family, you put it down on a pad, write it down. There's nothing wrong with that,
No,
But now you got to do a little bit of dirty work. You have to do the hard stuff, make the list, right? Okay.
Yeah. All right, man. I'll let you go. It's just one of the things I've been trying to in this section of the reset, that lover player magnet thing. I'm not awesome at it. I'm not a romantic.
You're not alone, dude.
So,
most guys, they don't even know what romance is, for starters. Or they use it to fix things or to get something, or they have no clue. They just, I didn't even know how to, it's actually remarkable how I knew to be a gentleman because I had a bad example. I never saw anything like that in my life, right? I saw screaming. So I think that men, we get a bad rap because you're supposed to just know because, you watch the movies or some shit. I don't know. But if you think about it, usually it's not our favorite movies. We want to blow some shit up and stuff. Fast and the Furious, fly some planes, whatever, right? And so the point is to just start implementing. The other challenge you face is harder because she's not at home. But same thing as I said earlier. It's just different. Guys at home, especially if they start doing the same things over and over again, then their wife wants space, and they feel smothered. And if you're everyone's wife, they're attached to expectations, or they know or believe that you still have expectations. Sorry. And so that makes it challenging too. So it's like you want to do it and you're not comfortable with it. And then, what's going to happen? Just opportunities, dude. It's opportunities for her to run aside of your car for you to show up.
Yeah, I need to. That's how I need to look at it. I need to stop. It's just like I think it was Quincy. I just stop being afraid. Stop being afraid of the. If I send her flowers and she said, "Oh my gosh, he's coming on too strong." I mean, she's my fucking wife. It can't be. It's not like a first date with her. I've known the girl for 13 years. The reaction can't be that bad that it's going to, you said, it's not going to ruin.
It might be, but especially with the way I gave you the idea of hey babe, I was thinking about this and we're running out of time, you give her the story, you take the pressure off. So the chances of her running, also your wife's not even hard on you. So the chances of her running in the side of your car and be like, fuck you, I want space.
Well, see, and I think that's what it's going to be. I think that's what it's going to be is stop. You're making it, I was supposed to be done with you. I feel like that's what.
But that just means she's noticing the changes. And then you're like, what? Why aren't you? And then a lot of times they go into this, you're not respecting my boundaries thing and all this stuff. I'm just actually helping you pack and here's some flowers. Now you don't say that to her. Right. But that's not actually, there's no boundaries being crossed. I just fucking love you. So you just keep it simple. It's just, we don't go into explanation mode.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I've been steering clear of that.
Okay, good. All right, man. I'm a minute late for a call.
My pre-workout's kicking in. I'm itching.
Okay. Sounds good. Go have a good workout. We're gonna do Lover Player Magnet in the live training here in 45 minutes too.
Yeah. Let me get this done and I'll be back.
Okay. See you, bud.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You got it.